Looking at the pound dollar here on the daily time frame, you can see that we've had a nice little pullback back down here into the 128 area. And again, we're moving into the highs and into that daily supply zone that's just above us, going from about 132 up to about 133. So I'm looking for price to continue that move on up this coming week, and really to retest these highs up here that we have at this daily supply zone that's been bounced on now. So let's go ahead and dive down into the smaller time frame just to see where a little bit of that support and resistance is going to coincide with the supply zone that's just above us here. So we're going to go ahead and load some more data and see really what that resistance looks like. Okay, so as we can see here, we got a little bit of fresh resistance coming into play here right around the 13-14 area. This is fresh resistance, so expect price to move up into this zone here, acting as a little bit of resistance and then back down. And then we should be coming back up. Now, this is the big daily supply zone, even though it's green up here. Let's go ahead and change that color real quick. Look for this purple zone that overlaps that daily supply, as well as the blue zone on the far upper edge of this zone. So as this thing comes into play, both of these zones inside of here have been hit multiple times, and we know that just from the coloration of the Apazones software, that prices bounced off of these levels here a couple times so that they are weak. Okay, so as price comes into this area, look for price to bounce off of the 60-minute supply mixed in with the daily supply, and then possibly driving up into the top of this zone here over the next few days to a week. Here on the daily chart on the euro dollar, we can see that price is breaking new highs today, actually. So it's broken the previous pivot. From the previous pivot, notice how price came down here and did a wonderful bounce onto daily demand, just barely kissing that level and then taking out the previous high here. And it looks like we're going to see price bouncing up to right around the 121.25 zone as price continues on in this uptrend. Now, something interesting to point out is as prices moved into the highs here, we haven't really reformed this supply zone at all. So I'm looking for price to potentially move to the upside here, and then as it does so, to basically reform some new demand, possibly all the way down here again, right around this previous pivot, basically doing a cup and handle type trade, and then continuing on up into the blue zone right around the 22.15 area. Okay, so that's really what I'm doing. Either it's going to sit around here and then continue up, or we're going to see a pullback all the way down there. So that's really what I'm looking at for the next coming week, is for price to continue to the upside. I would like to see a little bit more of the breakout here of this supply zone and of the previous high, and then a really slight pullback right around where this this actually current supply level is, or a pullback, reform this daily supply here, and then continuation to the upside. So that's what I'm really looking at as far as this thing goes. Now, let's go ahead and zoom in here, and we're going to look at the daily demand zone as well as the daily supply zone above and below us here on the 60-minute time frame. And as we do so, what we're really looking for is to see where are those support and resistance levels going to be coming into play. And as we look at these levels here, you can see that we find ourselves with some support down here right around the 120.29 all the way down to about 120.17. Then we have a nice chocolate zone where prices bounce off of this a few more times to the downside. Now on the upside, obviously we identified this supply zone. Now this supply zone is coming from several years back in the past. So price hasn't been here, and unfortunately I don't have enough data to go back there and find the resistance level inside of this supply zone that we're talking about right here. But know where this supply zone is what I would tell everybody, and just realize that we are going to be hitting supply up here, okay? And this is kind of a decision point as we look to see where price is going to go next, all right? So be on the lookout for that area, know that it's there, and prepare to see price bounce off of it. But more importantly is, where is support? Because we want to jump on this uptrend. So be looking for a confluence of zones of higher time frames down to lower time frames, really showing us where a good place to buy low and sell high would be. So that's what I'm looking at for this coming week. And thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel as we continue to give you forecasts for up and coming weeks.